Hi, everyone. My name is David Monias, and my co-host here, Take a Wave, is Karen Swain. We are with the First Nations Family Advocate Office. We are today going to be doing a workshop called Food as Medicine. Um, it is a great workshop. I'm sure some of you are returned families. Um, yeah, well, we can get the show on the road. Uh, Karen, did you want to start with any opening thoughts or land acknowledgements?
Well, good evening and welcome again to our Food is Medicine. My spirit name is Midday Sky Woman, and I'm from the Golden Eagle Clan. And I'm just really happy to join you. And of course, we acknowledge that we're here on Turtle Island and in our natural home territory, Treaty 1, and the homeland of the Métis Nation. Um, we are so pleased to have this community time together. We've missed having our participants come in and see us at the office. The COVID closures have been really hard on everyone. And we're just so happy that you could join us here tonight.
Awesome. Okay, and with that, let's get started on today's meal. So today is going to be fried bannock with uh, fried bannock tacos, I guess. We do have some things pre-mixed, but I will kind of still be going over some of the smaller nuances and kind of different details. Uh, I guess we can get started with our lettuce. As things are generally pretty easy, we are going to just start checking it over. Mine do kind of have some bad leaves on the top. That is fine. We will just have to remove those. They should be quite easy to remove. Don't be afraid to remove this. See, we can do the overhead camera if you like. See, there is some brown spots, some not so great parts. That's pretty natural. This is usually why we ask people, our families, to say, we always ask people to wash their veggies because the supermarket is actually full of like food that does not make it through the shipping process. It is quite normal, but again, that's why we wash our food. So I'm just going to remove that top layer. It's a little bit unfortunate. I do have to throw that away. If I was in a home setting, I would probably save it for compost or anything like that. But here's my favorite part of working with a head of lettuce is, so at this part right here, we get to smash it. If we have any young ones, this is always a great thing that they love to do. I'm going to move my knife just to be safe. And we're going to either crush it like this, we're going to push on it, or even just slam it on the table. This just really kind of loosens up all the leaves. And we're going to take our favorite leaves, grab a strainer of any kind. We're going to pick our favorite leaves out. We're going to grab a few of those. And we are going to rinse these leaves. Again, I always encourage people to wash their veggies. There is a lot of not so great things happening at the supermarket. Usually normal things, but nothing a good wash won't handle. And pardon me, I am going to go over there to wash my leaves. And I always just give them a good rinse. We are not using any soap. I know that sounds a little silly, but you never know. What's my normal and your normal might not be normal for everybody. And you'll be kind of hearing me say a lot of really over simple stuff like that. But we're just going to start with that. I'm going to bring it on back over. And I'm going to grab a few of these. I'm going to wipe that off and maybe rinse it again. Sorry about that. Nice clean thing here, cutting board. And we're going to grab a few of these. You can either hand rip them however you like. Today I'm going to be chopping some. And I'm also going to show you some proper knife techniques. So I'm just going to grab a few of them lengthwise. And we are going to grab any knife that you can, preferably one with kind of a straight edge. If they are kind of fatter on the top and kind of taper off to the side, this is the kind that we want to use. These are more or less for vegetables. And what I like to always tell people when chopping these things, we always kind of tuck our hands in. So it's kind of like this. So if we are cutting, it only kind of scrapes off anything and it doesn't kind of get any fingers or any real bad damage like that. And it is just kind of holding it like this. And we're just going to be kind of go like this. And you can kind of even chop it faster depending on how sharp your knife is. So we're just going to kind of get some nice shredded lettuce. It's going to be kind of like McDonald's. And again, we keep that thumb tucked in. We keep these guys bent over, kind of like a clam. So again, if we do get anything, it's kind of just a shed. And then we can kind of throw away any food and kind of clean up. And hopefully it won't be a sharp cut. And again, I'm going to show you one more time. I'm going to grab some of my favorite veggies, some lettuce. And we are going to do that again. I'm sure a lot of you guys are pros, so I do apologize if this is really straightforward stuff here. But like I said, not our normal is not the same normal for everybody else. So because I'm cooking a little bit less because there's only me here, we are going to have this much. And that should be good. And then we can get started on our fried bannock. So I think that's a good start. So with a big pot like this, we can grab our materials, our flour right here. There is 2 bags. From my understanding, they are pre-mixed. They should have salt and maybe some baking powder in it. So for my recipe today, this should make about, I would argue maybe 5 or 7 about fried bread about this big. Maybe I'll grab something to give you a reference. Oh, we all got one of these. So it should be something about that size. I am going to grab at least 3 cups worth of this. They can be loose cups if you want. What I like to do is also kind of fill it up, kind of shake it so it's a little bit even, and just do a light little kind of flip over. I know a lot of families for bannock don't measure their stuff and they kind of go by ear or maybe eyes in this case. But we're just going to follow this loosely. Please add more bannock flour if you need it. Again, if we were making this from scratch, it would just be 3 cups of flour, just normal cups. And then if we had baking soda, I would say, it's not this one, this is for the table. I would grab, I think 2 or 3 tablespoons of this, and you would just kind of plop them all in, mix that up. Again, if we were making from scratch, I would add some salt. It's really up to you on how much you want to put in there. Sometimes people put quite a bit, some people don't. It's really up to you. I'm going to put a little bit more. I like to put it just a... Hi, is there anybody who has any questions there?
Do we add water yet? Sorry, I didn't hear.
Not yet. We're just kind of in the dry portions. But if you need water, let me know. Or you can get started if you guys are keeners and you guys are on top of things. We are going to add approximately, I think it is almost 300 milliliters. So that's kind of roughly about, I would have to double check this. That is, actually, I'm just going to do the smart thing. And you can use warm water.
300 millimeters. I got this little thing right here.
Can I see?
It's just a chart.
Ooh. How much is, yeah, that's awesome. I think
Okay.
300 milliliters should be, I have it on my measuring cup here.
See, it says 237, 1 cup.
Yeah, 237. We can do that if you like. 1 cup's worth.
And then the difference between 237 and 300 would be 70. So we're close to 70.
On top
Okay,
of things,
so
eh?
a
So we're
third.
gonna add about 1 cup worth of water. Thank you for letting me know that.
So maybe do it in half and half and make
Half
sure
and-
it doesn't get too doughy.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Oh my goodness. Creole.
Half and half
Sorry,
with
not to
oil,
burn.
or half and half as in like starting some now?
Well, add half of your water and mix it up, and then add half or half of what's left, and just
Mhm.
keep working until it
It's
gets
a nice
to the
mixture.
consistency. Yeah,
Okay,
and
we'll do that.
make a little well in the middle, like a volcano. Make a little well in the middle. That's how
Like this.
my grandma would show us,
Mm,
and then that's where the water goes.
awesome. And just like this, I don't know if it's quite hard to see with the reflections, but as you can kind of see, I have that little bit there. I am going to add a little bit of oil in my recipe. I usually add about, I want to make sure this is in camera. Sorry about that, guys. I usually try to make sure there's about 1 or 2 teaspoons worth of oil. Again, I know everybody kind of does theirs a little bit differently because there are many different knowledge keepers. Hell, I'm going to use 3 actually. Perfect. And we want to save the rest of the oil for the recipe today. So we're going to add our thing. And then like Karen said, we are going to make kind of a well. We're just going to make sure it's right there. And hopefully we're going to get most of this. And this is where I usually like to kind of throw in our disclaimer. Some of you might be fried Bannock pros. I might not be. If you have any super suggestible tips, please speak up. I really love hearing from you guys, and I love showcasing kind of your knowledge. Some of you guys might be even pros and do something else. If you don't have oil, you can use margarine or lard. I like to use room temperature or even kind of melted. Probably not too hot to burn yourself, but I would stick it in there and kind of massage it in there. All right, with that said, we are gonna probably kind of put some of this in there. Put a little bit for now, like Karen said, and just kind of massage it in there. And I wasn't that smart, and I should have kind of started getting my fingers a little bit more floury so it wouldn't be sticking to my fingers. You may see me stop to go wash my fingers just so we have a clean hand. And I'm gonna add a little bit more.
Hi.
Hello.
I add egg and milk to mine.
Ooh. Would you
Yeah.
just add it right before?
I add it with the water as I'm
Mhm.
mixing it. Yeah. It makes it soft.
Yeah. In my household, I usually use a lot of like margarine instead of oils, especially for like the baked Bannock too.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. It's always kind of really interesting to see all the different families kind of like recipes. Because I know there's some people who are really like really protective of their Bannock recipes, eh? And they get so defensive when someone has something different. But I think it's okay. It's kind of like our teachings. A lot of times it is kind of lost knowledge, but a lot of times we are reclaiming them. And we kind of are kind of like learning at our own paces. It's kind of a lot of times you see a lot of urban families not be really connected with ceremony, but there's nothing wrong with that. I think there's a great thing in learning at your own pace and kind of going from there.
Definitely. I love to hear the unique recipes that our families have. And Bannock was used in the fur trade as a quick energy for traveling. It would give that carb energy and those fast calories to keep people going, especially in the winter. And I'm liking to see how gentle David is being with the dough. My mom used to say, make sure you put that love in your dough and don't beat up your Bannock or it'll be like hockey pucks.
Oh yeah, I even heard people try to argue that you don't want to be kneading it much. I might need to add some more water and maybe even a little bit more oil as well, because mine is kind of still kind of doughy, or even like not doughy, floury. So do pardon me while I do kind of get the right measurements, and I'll add a little bit more. But again, it is like I said earlier, a lot of families do kind of just play it by ear. Like if it's not doing well, then you just add a little bit more, a little each or. I always find it funny. It's kind of the same mantra as making slime. If you have one or the other, you just add a little bit more until it's just right. And I'm just going to do that, follow that same code, and just add a little bit more water. Previous photo? Oh yes, heck yes. So we had one family today who wasn't able to make it, but they're pretty familiar with the recipe. And they were actually able to kind of make it earlier and send in a photo. Whew, mine's a little bit too much watery now. And in that case, I'm just going to add a little bit more flour here. And again, excuse me while I rinse my hands a little bit. You guys probably are laughing at me saying this guy's an amateur when it comes to Bannock. And maybe that's true, but I like to think that we're all kind of learning at our own pace. And that's okay, I think. Ain't that right, Karen? Back me up, please.
Totally true. I come from a long, long line of Bannock goddesses, but I am Bannockly challenged. So
Oh.
this helps me to learn too, so that I can carry on that legacy and teach it to my daughter and my granddaughters. So I'm glad to be here learning.
How are people's Bannock coming along there? People doing awesome there? Ooh, that one's a pro. Can you
Mine's
show me
turning
that
out
again?
good.
Show me that again. You're highlighted today. Ooh, looking a lot better than mine. And that's okay.
Should I add more water to mine? It seems kind of like
Is it feeling a little bit dry?
a little bit.
I would put a tiny bit. I wouldn't go too hardcore. You would end up
Okay.
being kind of like me, where mine's a little bit more softer than it needs to be.
Thank you.
But we're going to keep kneading it a little bit and be gentle with it. And it'll be okay. But the nice thing though is that once you kind of get in that fryer, it does kind of shapen up and turn out pretty well. And I'm just going to add a tiny bit more flour. I think I have some leftovers in my bag. For those who are kind of Bannock awesome people, I would encourage you guys to maybe split up the Bannock balls. Split up your Bannock into little balls, dough balls of however many that you want to make today. I'm going to be making about 7 or so. And just make them into little balls, and we'll put them off to the side. If you guys do want to fry them up early, do go ahead. We are going to be browning our meat next, and while we kind of let the Bannock balls kind of settle. And mine's not perfect, but again, I think it's pretty okay. So I'm just going to lightly kind of season my area here. There's some clumpy bits. That's okay. We'll pick
Guys,
them
I
up.
think we have someone in the waiting room.
Okay, I'm just gonna take a moment to kind of catch up the new person. Oh, Jennifer, okay. Okay, then they're pretty okay then. If it was a family, then I would take a minute to kind of catch them up. Mine's a little bit still kind of doughy, so I'm just gonna add a little bit here and there. And again, we're all learning. And I'm not cooking for you tonight, right? Everybody would be probably happy that they get to make their own Bannock today, as it is okay. So mine is a little bit more clumpier than I like it to be, but that's okay. I do have some extra flour here. I'm going to use it to kind of flour up the table. Maybe kind of throw a little bit more. Maybe kind of just be a little bit generous with that. Some people go hardcore, some people do less. And if there is some sticky parts, right, then just kind of make sure you expose that to that part of on the table there. And then just keep that kneading process going. Don't use all of your table flour, just because when we kind of do separate, you will kind of figure out where the sticky parts are on the inside. And you'll probably want to keep that just to kind of keep that in place. Okay, mine's looking a lot better. I'm going to stick it back in my bowl, and I'm going to rip off a piece here. And I'm probably going to get it ready to set aside. And we're just going to make them into little balls. And if you, today I'm a little under prepped. Some people like to keep theirs off to the side and let them kind of sit for a moment. They kind of get nice and soft. Actually, maybe not that plate. That's a wet one. I'm going to get a brand new one. Apologies for that, guys. And have that there. And like I said, just maybe grab a handful, peel it off, roll it on up. If there's any sticky parts, please, please, please do add it to the table. Kind of just gently roll it up into a ball. These balls can be various different sizes. They can be things here. We do not judge people's cooking skills. Please don't judge mine. So yeah, and I am finding some sticky parts in my parts here, and that's where this nice table parts do come in. If you do have a teammate with you or someone cooking with you, you can have them start browning the meat now. I see some people are tag teaming today, which is awesome.
I see that Rachel and the crew are making their fry bread discs, and I see Melissa and Zoe are busy. Cassidy and Gabriel, Lillian, way to go, you guys. Is that Felicity? Awesome.
And then just for those who are kind of ahead and wanting to kind of get frying their dough, I'm going to show you just a little bit of what I want people to do. So we are just going to kind of roll it up a little bit more. And we can kind of hand roll it. We can use a roller if you like. I like to kind of just almost kind of like stretch it out on its own. And you can kind of just like naturally get that kind of space going. And if there's some tears, that's okay. I was actually going to add a little hole in the middle. It does kind of help it with the way it fries, and it doesn't get so kind of balloon-like. There you go. And then if you really wanted to, and if you guys are ahead of the game, please just have your oil ready and start cooking it. And then just keep it for like a minute or two for each side. I'm just going to leave this off to the side here. And I'm just going to finish my dough bowls. And then I'm going to wash my hands and start getting ready the browning of the meat.
David, when you have your little your fry bread discs ready, do you slice them in the middle to cook?
I slice them or I poke them with my finger. And I do kind of keep them to kind of, like I said, they kind of balloon up a little bit. I don't know if you guys ever bought like pizza and had like the dough kind of rise and there's just like an air pocket. It kind of helps with that. But yeah, all right. So I'm going to wash my hands and we can get started on browning the meat and frying our fry bread. Super excited. Happy to see a lot of people are kind of ahead of the game here. Bannock pros, I would even say. One day I would love to be experienced as you guys. All right, so we're gonna switch over to our stuff over here. Today I am gonna be browning my meat in this bigger pot here, just because lack of kind of options here, and I do want to keep the kind of shorter deep dish for my oil. I'm gonna probably have my meat prepared. If you really want it to be keen, I always love adding green peppers, onions, things like that, even garlic to the mixture. Like fresh garlic. And we are kind of turn this heat. I'm gonna put it up to medium heat for now. And we're gonna start browning that. The nice thing about this can kind of be neglected a little bit, and you be breaking it down a little bit. Actually, I don't think I need this here. I'm gonna put it off to the side. I'm gonna get my oil ready. So we're gonna put our oil in. Probably just want enough to kind of soak it on all sides. Nothing too deep. Some people love the deep oil. Me, I kind of like to make sure I don't have too much going on. I'm gonna warm up my oven, my oil on that side. And yeah, I guess we're kind of in a waiting game point. How are things going on this side? Or Karen, do you have anything to share? Or how are people coming along? We can also check in on them. Should I go down the list of names and see where they are?
Yes, please.
Can I start with Lillian, I think? Hi, doing great there? Awesome. Who's next down the list there? I have, what is that name? Who? Felicia's, how are you? How's it going there? I see you kind of being a pro and starting a little bit early. You want to show me what you got? Woo! That is lovely.
Wow.
Wow.
Nice. Looks great.
That is gorgeous. Now let's see what the
Awesome.
next one is. Hi guys, how are you? What family is this? Rachel and crew, how are you guys? Hi.
How's it going?
How's it going over there? You guys cooking lots?
Yes, so we've got my mom who's frying up the Bannock. She joined us tonight, and then Kieran, my 15-year-old, who is actually shaping the Bannock. So, and I did tomatoes.
Right
Awesome.
on. So you have a pro with you tonight.
Awesome.
Run some
go
Google
ahead.
power tonight.
So awesome.
Always get a ringer.
Nice. And then like this family, if you guys have more people in the household who are willing to cook or participate today, do feel free to kind of divvy up the details and kind of like what they're doing. Ooh, that looks awesome, Lillian.
Nice.
You guys are so much more ahead than I am. But everybody's so eager and knows the recipe, right? How's this family doing? Cassidy, how's it going there?
I think I need to do I'll do the meat, right?
Yeah, you should have done the meat a long time ago.
Washing your hands, nice. Good to see it.
It's still, be careful.
Still kind of doughy.
It's just, that's what it's here.
I'm gonna come a little bit closer to the camera. Hope you don't mind.
Is
I would
it
add a little bit more
crumbly?
water, maybe oil if you have it. If you do have some lard, you can lard or margarine or any butter. You can microwave that a little bit and then kind of mix it in there and kind of hopefully kind of add it a little bit.
Lard, water.
Lard or margarine or butter. If you have like a plastic container like this, just kind of put some in there, microwave it, and kind of just add it in there. Just be careful it is get a little bit hot, and then kind of keep that kind of mixture going. And then was that mostly everybody there? Hi, which family is that? Melissa and Zoe, how are things going over there? Love the kitchen, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
Love the family fridge. Like our fridge is all kind of boring.
Oh, we got the thumbs up from Melissa and Zoe, so things are
They're hard at work. And then Karen, if you want to message that one family who was kind of needing some help with the butter there, or kind of making sure their flour is doughy, just double check on them. Just I don't want to make sure any families are left behind. And of course, if you
For
need me to kind of
sure.
keep track of anything, let me know. And I'm
All
going to head
right.
over to the thing. And let me know if you needed me to re-go over anything, because I'm more than willing to kind of keep everybody in the loop. Before I do that, I'm grabbing a mini plate for myself because I am going to be handling some raw meat. And I would like to have it on a different cooking surface so germs don't spread. I do have a kind of a see-through thing there. So when we are working with fry bread, the oil doesn't come with the spatula. And I will have a plate handy for all my fry bread that I make. And I think this is starting to kind of cook. Maybe a little, turn it up a little bit more. And I'm gonna double check my meat.
I had to cook another pound of beef. I
Yeah?
have three big boys.
Oh, probably my size, right?
I had to, yeah, my oldest to double my recipe.
Oh no.
But
So, but that said, also, if you are going to be adding more ground beef, right? If
Yeah.
you do have some spices in the house,
Yeah.
some of the stuff that you can add are kind of like, this one contains chili powder, salt, onion powder, cornstarch, some salt, garlic, and then just like some other little things that are more kind of not too worried about. But the main thing, if you do really want to add some stuff, is salt, pepper, garlic. You probably want to throw a lot in cumin in there. That's the kind of stuff that makes it that taco smell. So if you do have those things around the house, you can add them. And you don't even need to buy the mixing as well if you don't need to or don't want to. This is the way to go. And apparently I am a wimp today and I can't get this open. I would
I
use
never
my
tried
teeth.
it with garlic before. How much would I put? I have the minced garlic.
I would put it to taste, right? If you do have like the actual raw garlic that you cut up yourself, I would put some here and there and try to get it really kind of thin or crush it as much as you could. Then I would mix it into the raw beef as much as I could and kind of just throw it in. Those are the pro tips if you have them. It's okay if you don't. I would also throw a little bit more of the taco seasoning once it kind of looks more brown and once there's kind of some grease there. And I'm going to double check on mine, see how it's going over here. So mine is browning. I probably want to throw it on a little bit more high, I think, just to be conscious of time. And then I'll probably do 2 rows of fry bread and then we'll call it a night. I'm going to see how my first one goes. See, I made it. And this one will be a smaller one, right? Maybe one of those like ones for smaller people. If you do want to go crazy or you want to feed someone my size. Hi. Who's speaking? Do we have them there? Okay, I think they're quiet again. If you do need me, raise your hand, flag down. Our cameraman will kind of bring attention to it, or Karen will. And I'll kind of bring it back. And if you need some help, I'll kind of help out. Anyways.
I'm
So
just
this
reaching
smaller-
out to Cassidy to see how things are going. It looked like you had added and it looked like it had
It's just
worked
hard.
Yeah.
It's hard. It's sticky. It's thick.
Yeah.
It's like
Yeah.
Maybe I'm going to
Oh.
switch these 2 up.
Okay. So can you press
Get a
into
better
it?
camera image.
Is it okay if I video call you on Facebook? It
Yeah, that looks pretty
okay.
good. If it
Yeah.
is kind of fraying, that is okay in my opinion. Usually sometimes when I make my bannock, like the bannock that's kind of baked, it does look like that sometimes, especially if it's been a while.
He eat us.
Pardon, you were cutting out there.
Yeah. Sticky.
If it is kind of fraying like this, that is okay, right? Sometimes a little bit moisture, a little bit helps with that. If it is sticky, that's kind of the more concern there. But if it is kind of fraying, if it kind of looks like almost kind of like, I'm just gonna mess up this one. And it almost kind of doesn't even look like a proper ball. As long as you can kind of get in that disc, even if it's kind of not in the best shape, I think it's okay. The nice thing about that, once you kind of get in the frying there and kind of have it kind of in at least a decent shape, it will turn out pretty nice. I do like from the bigger sizes or the bigger ones for myself. I do kind of like stretching them out quite a bit. And then you can kind of load them up and then you can kind of almost, you can almost fold them after once they're cooked. But if they are kind of fraying, that is okay. See, this one is not going to be perfect. But it will, once you kind of have it frying, it will kind of cook a little bit more proper. And I think Karen is also going to double check with that family to make sure they're doing okay. Is that right, Karen? Let me know if you need some extra support there. Chris, do flag it down for me if you need to. Oh, my fried bread is cooking. Oh, I had a little bit of splash there. I'm going to turn that a bit down, but she is cooking. You want that nice brown. This is a little bit darker than enough that I like, but that's okay. Once we kind of have that meat going, we are going to add in our taco seasoning or any kind of added things. Sometimes I really like cooking them with green peppers, onions, garlic. And then you can really add any kind of taste or, oops, wrong one. Put that in there so it boils. We kind of cook them to kind of however you want and kind of get that nice flavor in. Chili pepper kind of works, cumin, salt, pepper. And even if you kind of go without it, that's fine too. This morning when I did my test run during my lunchtime, I accidentally forgot that I had cumin and just did salt and pepper, and it turned out fairly fantastic. Now this meat's browning pretty nice, and I'm gonna probably take it off soon. Probably lower that a little bit. And we're probably gonna, this fry bread's turning pretty nice. I'm just gonna put it onto a plate. If you want, you can put paper towels over your plate. It really does help with the grease and oil. And I'm gonna do this next one where it's not so perfect. It does have a hole in the middle. And we're just gonna lay it on there. Please be careful. It is hot oil that we're working with today. If you ever do get a chance to speak to any of your workers within our office, do tell them that this program is really fun. Tell them that you want to do it in person. Who knows, maybe we can, right? Not like right away, anytime, but once it's safe. If we could do it in person, I could help with anybody who's having issues. And we can kind of make sure everybody's having a good time because I want to make sure everybody's included. Yeah. And here's some photos from last week. We had one family here who made kimchi on the side with their their sidekick and some of the peas that we provided. This is that wonderful fried fish. Here's another. And it looks so yummy, man. That was so yummy. And we had to have the Miracle Whip there. It is a staple in our families. Awesome. And I'm gonna double check on my fry bread. See how fast it cooks? I don't even need to do much here. It's got that nice texture. And we just want that nice golden brown. It only takes a couple seconds. Looks like my meat's pretty much done. I'm just gonna showcase that to you right now. Bring it on up. Looks nice and yummy. And I'm just gonna set that off to the side because it's pretty much brown at this point. And this way I can just focus on plating my next Bannock taco here. And I'm probably just gonna prep 2 of them for now, just so we can kind of show you how, because we are kind of running on close on time here. So this one's turning out pretty nice too. Has a nice golden brown. I'll bring it over to our better lit up camera. See that right there? And if you are concerned about that oil, again, just throwing some paper towels over it or anything like that really helps it. I know a lot of families do this for like sometimes pizza, sometimes if it's too greasy, or even like sometimes our bacon. Sometimes I don't want to have a wet, soggy bacon.
David, move the fry bread under the overhead again.
Oh, sorry. Good catch, Karen. So what?
So your one piece looks like a eagle head. So you have 7 teachings fry bread going. So that's awesome.
So what I was saying earlier too is if it is kind of greasy or oily, I would love to just like put it on a napkin or a paper towel, and I kind of just hold it almost kind of like want to cover it or cover the base wherever you're storing it, and just kind of have it and pat it down. Really soaks up all that rest of that oil there. I'm gonna turn off my ovens before I start a fire. And how about we start plating or I will start plating some of ours. We do have some salsa here. If you do have some canned tomatoes, whether they're diced or just trying to get that nice camera angle here, diced or whatever, or fresh, you could use that. Today, just for convenience and making sure we have everything on time, we are gonna settle for salsa. This one's a mild one. It comes with, has tomatoes, some onions, chili powders, red pepper, white vinegar, salt, cilantro, spice, garlic, just a mix of a little bit of everything. Oh, this is hard. Oh, there you go. Gonna do it with my floury hands. So I'm gonna use this one. So it's nice and kind of flexible. I like to always start with mine on the bottom here. And I kind of just like paste it out. And as you can kind of see, there's some onions. Today we're kind of running with the convenience factor because we are kind of short on time. I'm gonna get some of that lettuce that was chopped up. Again, you don't always have to buy the pre-packaged stuff. Sometimes it is cheaper to feed a bigger family with just like buying like the slab of cheese and shredding yourself. But today we are kind of just running short on time. And then next week we will kind of have the ingredients list a little bit, maybe put out a little bit in advance. It will come kind of in a printed fashion. Oh, I was looking up there. I don't know why. We will have it kind of printed out so you can have your own kind of like binder, but maybe we'll email out with the confirmation email what recipe we're cooking. And maybe you can kind of pick up some extra sides for yourself if you need to feed more people. I know one family was saying they're feeding quite a lot of people there, and they will be kind of needing to double their recipe. And then of course, I am gonna go grab some. What should I put it in? Put it in a smaller bowl. I'm gonna grab some ground beef from our kitchen over here. Ooh, it looks good. I'm gonna put that right there. Again. I'm gonna come back to the front over here, and we're just gonna add it to this spot right here. And then if you guys have onion powder, not onion powder, sour cream. I don't know how I got that. Sour cream. I'd love to put that on as well. I also like adding spice to mine. And it kind of adds there. And I'm going to make one more extra one before we go today, just so we can have a nice Instagram worthy picture. And again, I'm going to grab some more sauce here. Just kind of layer up that bottom layer, so it kind of has that stickiness. Add some lettuce. Add some cheese. And then add our ground beef here with all our seasonings. And I'm gonna wipe my hand there. And just for the Instagram picture, I'm gonna clean up the kind of messy sides here. Yes, plating is important, at least for this. And that makes it nice and kind of yummy looking.
It looks great.
There's two ways you can eat it. If you made a smaller one or you left it in too long like I did, you can just eat it kind of like this. Or with something like this one that has a little bit more flexibility, you can kind of mush it up. Eat it kind of like a sloppy Joe style, almost kind of like taco. See how it's folded? I'm gonna bring it back up to the overhead camera. It'd be nice and yummy. And before we go, can we see some awesome photos or pictures or anything like that with some of our families here? Any finished products? Does anybody have theirs done?
I just have a Bannock done.
Ooh, that produce line looks great.
Oh, that Bannock looks so good.
Oh, did I miss it again? Who's that
Thank
there?
you for teaching us.
Ooh.
Wow.
Oh, so good.
And if you have a thicker one too, I'd even kind of, a pro tip too would be cutting it almost like a bagel and kind of putting it in like a pocket.
They're kind of thick, but
It
get them
works.
fuller. What's that?
It works. In my opinion, like,
Yeah.
like I made some in a test run during my lunchtime, and just to make sure I ran on time, and like it filled me up, and I'm kind of a hefty man, and I like my food. So hopefully it kind of feeds some of your big boys.
Oh yeah. They'll probably have 2 each.
Yeah, and they're hefty, and you can overload them too, or you can even rip them up and kind of make them into a kind of like a taco bowl style. Ooh,
Nice. Oh, that
that's
looks
lovely.
Wow.
Yum.
Yum.
Take a picture for that Instagram style. Send it to
Mhm.
us.
All right.
Yeah, remember to tag us and use the hashtag food as medicine.
Okay.
Awesome.
And if you don't Instagram or Facebook or whatever, you can email it to us.
Email it to us. Send it to your worker.
Wow.
Well, it looks so great.
Hi.
Can I see yours? I saw it there for a second. Ooh, yummy. Ooh,
There you go.
Wow.
that is delicious.
Yeah.
Oh, that looks so good.
There's
Who
the
else has some
cookie.
nice ones there?
Mm.
Anybody else want to show things up before we kind of wrap things up and end the night? Oh, I see one person kind of highlighting theirs.
I'll take a picture before we eat it and I'll send it to my Sarah. I'll send
Oh,
it to-
nice.
Oh, you made
It's
it into a
heart.
heart. That's so
I
awesome.
accidentally made a heart and I'm so proud of myself because this is the first time I'm making Bannock and I'm like, yay.
That's
That looks
awesome.
so good.
So yummy. All right. And then with that said, do we have any kind of overlays to kind of show off our social medias that you can tag us in? Okay. If it didn't work today, I think our social medias, you can generally find it by looking up the name First Nations Family Advocate or the kind of tagline FNFAO. Usually one of those two will give us results. I think even if you go on our webpage, it will kind of give you links. Hello? Oh, I do have it up right there, social media. It didn't kind of work as an overlay today, but our Twitter is FNFAOMB, all one word. Our Facebook is First Nations Family Advocate. And our Instagram is FNFAO. So if you post on any of those, tag us, add us, whatever, just get us on there, send them to your worker. I love to see the finished products and I love showcasing them. And then we can kind of highlight them next week as well. And with that said, make sure you follow us on all our Instagrams. If we have newsletters, follow those. Tell all your workers how much you enjoyed today. It really kind of helps the program out, lets us know what we could do better. We will try to have printouts next week. I do want to apologize for that because last time we just wanted to get the program running. And then this week we had our long weekend, so kind of bumped into it. So next week will be a lot more smoother. And yeah, and with that said, have a good night and I will see you guys next week. I hope you guys had fun. Pardon?